everybody. Welcome to our last edition of How to Achieve Better Direct Marketing Results. I'm Noemi Hedrick, Marketing Specialist. This is Bob.
Hi.
Today we'll be talking about key performance indicators. And as usual, you can have access to all of this information as well as previous webinar information by downloading our e-guide. We'll give you access to that at the end of the webinar. But let's just jump in and talk about analytics, because that's the beginning of how to set up key performance indicators.
Right. So analytics is, a big part of understanding the success you've had with your campaign. You can never really tell, where you've been unless you've kind of determined where you want to go. So, having good data intelligence leads to much smarter strategies as you're developing your direct marketing campaigns or as you're starting to think about your next one.
Right. Yeah. We want to find the right tools, right? We want to make sure that we have the right tools that will allow you to look at the data in different ways that will help you set the strategies during your planning process.
And there's so many tools available nowadays, from a marketing standpoint to really understand what's happening, with your campaign. There's good email data, there's good digital marketing data. There's reverse IP tools that will help you understand, who's coming, to your website or to your landing pages. So really having the right tools in place or understanding how to use those tools is a critical component of really having a solid analytics structure to your direct marketing campaign.
Right. And talking about this structure or approach, there's 3 different approaches that you can take when looking at analytics. And it starts with descriptive analysis. Essentially what that is just taking a look at your current database, just looking at segmentation and cluster, just kind of grouping your data and viewing your data in a way that's going to help you understand your customer base.
And it's also really about, your past performance, right? Because your past performance gives you a lot of indication as to how you're going to do going forward. So again, how many customers you've acquired, how many donors engaged with your campaign, all that kind of gives you a baseline to start with. And, you work from there, forward as you plan your next campaign. Right.
And, as Bob mentioned, that's just going to help you understand where you are, what you have in hand, to then create some prediction. So that's predictive analytics. It is nothing but forecasting, just taking a look at what has been and where you want to go, right? What your goals are, create some modeling to try to pursue those. Things like your customer retention modeling or your demand modeling, whatever that may be, that will help you wrap up in a pretty bow where you want to go.
So again, this is the stage of analytics where you can be blue sky, right? You can really kind of try to predict, what you want to get done. You're trying to make predictions as to the level of response you're going to get or who you're going to get it from. And you can kind of model that out to kind of set the stage for understanding if you really achieve the level of success that you were hoping for.
Right. You can create persona modeling, so on and so forth. So, and now having that information from the past and coming up with some goals for the future, the last portion of it is prescriptive analysis. You want to consider all of the different outside factors on how you're going to use the information you have into the market, right? So it's essentially checking out the current culture, temperature, what's going on in the world, what the audience is going through, and taking that into account to then having a plan of action.
Right. So again, blue skies are great, but you have to be realistic and understand what's happening around you that could have potentially a positive or negative impact on your campaign. So does a competitor leave the marketplace? Does that create an opportunity to you? Or in the world of COVID last year, again, a huge impact. As much as you wanted your campaign to be successful, it was impacted by that, and your modeling should take that into consideration for you to get as accurate of analytics as you can to determine the success of your campaign.
Right. All of that is just going to help you set a go-to-market plan, essentially. But it will also help you in coming up with some key performance indicators, right? All of this work is just going to help you. It's going to lead to that portion of it, which is going to be crucial in you monitoring how your campaigns are doing.
Right. So this is the area where you really have to, determine what indicators are really going to, relate to success. And so a lot of times people just think about that singularly. Did they get as many donors as they wanted? Did they attract as many new customers as they wanted? But really, as we've talked about in our other webinars, there's other things that you need to consider that should be part of, defining the indicators that to help you measure success. So channel performance, messaging, segmented databases. Again, if you have that information and it's part of your strategy for your direct marketing campaign, then you're really going to have a lot more insights into how to create the success that you're looking for, at least with this campaign or into the future.
Right. There's so many different ways that you can look at key performance indicators. The most common ones are response rates and ROIs, but there's so much more to that. There is net promoter scores. There is marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads. There's just so many different ways that you can look in how you want to set up those key performance indicators or which ones they should be.
Right. And to whatever level that you're comfortable and to whatever level you can really get data that you're confident in, again, really look to do more than just one indicator to measure the success of your campaign.
And per campaign or per channel as well, right?
So again, none of our clients have deep pockets. So we're always working with them to model the economic impact of their campaign versus the investment. You really want to do a really good job of understanding what the cost to acquire a donor or client is.
Right.
And you don't want to outspend that. You don't want to spend $25 to get a $15 donation, right? Or you really want to make sure that the investment that you're making in your campaign generates the type of economic impact where it makes sense.
Absolutely. And that will also help you take a look at your current efforts and make changes on the go as needed. So that's where you can optimize. You can optimize at the end of a campaign or you can optimize during. But the one thing to keep in mind is that you should always allow yourself the benefit to pause a campaign, reanalyze, and go back to it. You should also take the pressure off of having to have great performance. You especially if you've never really tracked your performance, you want to create benchmarks. And you want to just set yourself up to do better than the last time. And that's how you should measure your success, is just improving every single time, taking into consideration the data you have at hand, the key performance indicators that you set up, and then making adjustments to then do better.
And again, if you have the right key performance indicators, that allows you to kind of, again, measure not only where you want to go, but where you are during the campaign and where you are at the end. And the key really is to optimize. And as we've talked about in other webinars, test and measure, test and measure. That's really the key to getting the best results for your direct marketing efforts.
That's right. Well, we hope you enjoyed everything we have covered. You will also have access to our e-guide. You can go to betterresultsforyou.com and download it and continue to enjoy everything that we've covered in this webinar series.
Right. And so Noemi and I have had tons of fun doing this webinar series. We hope that all of you have kind of benefited in some capacity by the information that we shared with you. We want to thank you and let you know that either one of us are available. If you want more information or help with planning your next direct marketing campaign, you can contact us using the emails below or give us a call. And that's it. I mean, we've had a lot of fun and we really enjoyed doing this series for you.
We did. We hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.